So I recently watched the way of the Househusband anime, and I was both entertained and inspired by Tatsu. Once known as the Immortal Dragon, he's a former yakuza boss that refuses to give up his old ways, plus he's got a cute wife. With that, here are my reasons why Tatsu is househusband material. Essentially the equivalent of a male housewife, we learn from Tatsu just how difficult it is to run a household. He prides himself in being a pro at his job, but we often find signs of him refusing to give up his old habits. Quite often, you'll see Tatsu speak to others in a menacing way, even if it's to a vacuum cleaner. As you can see, this robot is no match for Tatsu's cleaning ability, but in some twisted way it manages to get its revenge. Despite leaving the Yakuza family, Tatsu comes across one of his old members called Masa, who's obsessed with bringing back the Immortal Dragon. However, when Masa throws the croquettes to the ground, Tatsu didn't hesitate to show him up. Behind every great house husband is a strong wife, which for Tatsu is the beloved Miku, who seems to have a thing for anime, especially the show called Polycure. By day, she works her career as a designer, only to have her come home to this. Being the strong wife that she is, she really knows how to set her boundaries. And when Tatsu screws up her birthday gift, she intervenes in her own way. Though at other times, she just does it to stop the embarrassment. When it comes to kids, Tatsu's not too bad. When left to watch over the neighbor's kid, he bakes some life-changing cookies. However, when it comes to playing games, Tatsu's a bit of a dinosaur, relying on old-school dice games and such. The kid eventually gets his hands on Miku's Polycure figure, then accidentally breaks it in half. Now Tatsu, being the yakuza that he is, discarded the evidence the only way he knew how, by burying it 6 feet under. Too bad Miku catches them in the act. Tatsu definitely has a good heart, seeing that he volunteered to be the Santa, Immortal Claus for the local kids' party. Bringing the kids the joy of horsehair crabs? Instead of the usual toys, he instead brings them a wonderful feast, only for him to escape into the night on his red bicycle. Due to the hula hooping incident, Tatsu joins the local gym together with his fellow housewife friends. They attend a dance class together where Tatsu has a rather strange ending pose. Afterwards, they even attend a yoga class together where he has a unique way of remembering some of the poses. For a house husband, cooking is an essential skill to master. Also, because Miku can be a little scary around the kitchen. Most of the time, Tatsu is the one preparing Miku's cutely arranged lunches, while snapping a few photos in the process. However, when she does forget her lunch, it's Tatsu's job to race to bring it to her. One time, Tatsu was challenged by a former rival that now runs a crepe truck, eventually settling the dispute with an epic dessert cook-off. They then posted the desserts to social media, with Tatsu winning by exactly 1 like. Every home cook needs a good set of knives, and you know how the Yakuza are with their blades, right? So when the salesman comes around selling some poor quality blades, Tatsu had a little test run with them. He ended up cooking a hambagu meal for the guy. A meal so good that it made him give up the scam. Before any cooking can be done, ingredients must be procured. Like any house husband, Tatsu does all the grocery shopping for the household. And while you could say he knows a good deal when he sees one. And of course, he would have a loyalty card as well. However, he sometimes has a weird way with words. As a former Yakuza, Tatsu is no doubt gonna run into some trouble. When it comes to the police, Tatsu is constantly harassed by them due to his appearances. One time when he met up with Masa, the police thought a shady deal was going down. But in the end, it turns out it was just a private birthday party. Oh, and that little thing he gave Masa, it was just some harmless basil leaves. During one of his bike rides, Tatsu ends up crashing through the car window of a former rival. He then gets chased into the department store right into the fight of his life. Afterwards, he ends up grilling the other guys about the missed opportunity. That is until one of them pulls a gun on him. Tatsu then goes for what looks like an armbar, thus triggering a childhood memory for one of them. Now when it comes to appearances, Tatsu can be downright terrifying to others. Enough to leave one of his rivals shaking in the knees, and at other times falling to the ground. Likely coming from his past life, he has a long scar coming down his left eye, but he covers it up with signature sunglasses. Like most old school yakuza, Tatsu's entire back and parts of his chest are covered in tattoos. This is usually covered by a dark suit and blue dress shirt, but unique to the way of the house husband are the silly little aprons he's always wearing. While Miku did ask Tatsu to try some other clothes, he just settled for a polycure apron, to which she was delighted. Now laundry is an important aspect of being a house husband, so when Tatsu finds out Masa messed up, he goes ballistic. His underground knowledge also comes in handy for knowing all of the cleaning chemicals. Eventually, he just decides to just solo it against the shirt stains. Speaking of clothes, Tatsu even took up the hobby of sewing, making a tiny shirt for his former boss's dog. Safe to say that he was quite impressed. So what do you think about Tatsu? Does he inspire you to help more around the house? Be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment about Tatsu, our favorite Yakuza house husband.